Invasions is a new game mode for the Mortal Kombat franchise, although it clearly traces its roots back to Mortal Kombat 11's Crypt. Unlike the Crypt, Invasions are a seasonal piece of free content with multiple areas, called mesas, each with its own theming, opponents, bosses, and secrets to discover. Throughout these guides, we will be exploring details of Invasions, such as how to complete them, tips and tricks, and all you need to know for the Season of the Spectre. The first season of Invasions provides a very simple story. Hanzo Hasashi, Scorpion and most other timelines, has been hopping from timeline to timeline, looking for one in which he can be with the love of his life, Harumi. Eventually, in finding Liu Kang's timeline and seeing Harumi has found love with Kuai Lang, he becomes enraged, vowing to end this timeline. Very dramatic. After completing Johnny Cage's mansion, which is effectively the mode's tutorial, you will be transported to Fengjian Village. In the story, this is where Raiden and Kung Lao spend their days prior to Liu Kang's trials at Madame Bo's tea house. As with virtually all maps, you will start at one edge of it, and you have to make your way to the other, obtaining a key and eventually fighting a boss in the process. These mesa also contain a small subsection of the roster. For specific node enemies, rewards, and challenges, check out our DashFight article in the description of this video, which contains a full table of opponents and modifiers. Soon after finishing your first two fights, you will find your first clue. Yes, that is clue with a K, because of course it is. Most clues will be anagrams, meaning that you need to rearrange the letters to fix the clue. This is not always the case in other mesas, but we will get into that when we do. This is the only clue node in the mesa, and the anagram means destroy the world. To activate it, you will need to use the Cyrax fatality, which is forward, back, forward, and your cameo assist button. You can always pause and check the move list to double check. All clue nodes will give you access to a chest. Inside it, there will be a character palette in the theme of the season, a talisman, relic, or consumable, as well as a handful of seasonal coins, which you can use to purchase more palettes in the main menu store. It's worth noting that the palettes you can buy from the store are not the same as those found in the chest and by beating bosses in Invasions. So, if you want as complete a collection as possible, you will need to play through the mode. Back to the mesa, you will find your first fork. If you are wondering which path leads you to the end of the mesa, then simply look for the path with a green or red arrow on top of it. Otherwise, every path you see that is green will lead you to content that you have not yet explored. At the same time, light blue paths mean that there is nothing new in that particular direction. A quick note here for the completionist among you, visiting a node will not clear it, meaning that if you simply walk past a forge or shop but do not actually open the node, it will remain unexplored and leave you with an always green path to it. So even if you don't plan to buy anything, stop by the collector and say hi. This is also how you unlock their fast travel points. If you don't open a forge or shop node at least once, you won't be able to teleport back to it later. Before you head into the village proper, there are two towers you can clear. One is all the way to the right, the other to the left on the path going down. As Fengjian Village is the first mesa, you might feel some of the fights are somewhat challenging. If it ever feels like things are just too hard, which I wouldn't blame you given that a lot of opponents have super armor in their moves, here are a few tips you can follow to make it easier. First, check the elemental table in the character selection screen. If you have ever played a Pokemon game, you will feel right at home, surprisingly. Second, add some stat points to defense, health, and specials. I mean, we can all pull off those incredible 50% plus combos, right? Right, guys? But sometimes we just feel a little lazy and we might get hit. So adding a few points to those three attributes will make it a bit easier to survive them. Speaking of combos, we are partnering with top Mortal Kombat players to produce detailed guides for all characters. These include their best buttons, strings, game plans, and of course, combos. Go check them out. Finally, towers are an excellent source of XP for your invasion level, as you get them all in bulk without facing more challenging opponents. Truthfully, this becomes way less relevant after this first mesa, as you get access to the Gateway and Wuxi Academy, but for now, you want to grind it out. It is at this point that you should be facing your first ambush. Ambushes are random encounters in between nodes. You can keep them away by buying a guard's mask from the shop, which will protect you for 20 nodes. However, you might want to play them through. They can drop one of the most useful consumables, boosters. These provide you with extra permanent resistance to one element. They are only for the current character, but you can freely swap before using one. Heading north and into the village, you will be teleported to a different area. These are a short chain of nodes with chests containing more seasonal rewards and a few consumables. At the end of it, you need to complete a Test Your Might challenge before returning to the normal mesa. Back in the village, you will see a new node type, Netherstone Gates. These will only become unlocked after defeating Scorpion in the last mesa. These areas contain additional boss-like fights. Past this area, you will meet the mesa's mini-boss. Mini-bosses are like normal fights. The only difference is that they will have a second, or sometimes third, phase where they introduce a new modifier to the fight, usually in the theme of their existing modifier, like magic, acid, blood, etc. Soon after, you will have a couple more forks, one leading to another shop, the other to a tower, which provides Madame Beau's key, and a chest. After, in the main path, you will pass the locked gate with the aforementioned key, and into the final boss fight, Assassin Katana. During phase 1, she is just a normal fight. After knocking her out once, she will gain a magic aura. And finally, for phase 3, she will gain magic armor and start the round with a survive challenge of projectiles. This is a great opportunity to practice your dashing. Once you defeat the Mesa boss, you should walk through the portal to open your path to the Sundo Festival. After the opening cinematic for the Sundo Festival, you can exit back to the Mesa Select menu. There you will see two other new areas. The Wuxi Academy is on the top right, and the Gateway Portal is in the center. The Gateway Portal is a series of randomly generated towers. These are hourly, daily, weekly, and seasonal towers. If you want to fish for some extra boosters, some of the daily towers will be right around your level, 5 to 8, so feel free to try. As for the Wuxi Academy, the only major important element is the shop within it, which sells consumables to increase your invasion level and another to reset all your stat points. These are surprisingly cheap, and they refresh very quickly, so you can easily outlevel anything in the next few mesas. In the next video, we will tackle the Sundo Festival. But in the meantime, let us know how you feel about invasions. What do you like? What do you not like? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.